Mark Henry back on the 105.4 RPWP, the postradio.com on the On Your Mark show. Man, we're going to travel out to West Texas a little bit. Ran into these guys a couple of weeks ago at a practice that I was invited to by Texas Ice. Shout out to Coach Duffy and those guys for bringing home the trophy. We talked to them a couple of days ago on the On Your Mark show. I love the enthusiasm of Coach Hendrix and the West Texas Elite. This is an up-and-coming 707 program that's been making some noise on the circuit, 707 this year. Started last year, but now they're getting their weight up. They're getting their experience, and they're traveling around, and they're making a big impact. Last week, they went up to Oklahoma and opened a lot of eyes, had several guys that were on the all-tournament teams at Champion 7v7 and True Exposure. Shout out to my guys, Jonathan Mumphrey and those guys over there. Let's bring Coach Hendrix in and talk a little football. Come on in, Coach.
How you doing, sir? How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm great, man. I appreciate you joining me here on the On Your Mark show. Let's talk about you just a little bit. Give me a little bit of your background. Usually when I have coaches on, I like to let everybody know where you came from, where you started at, where you played ball at, and how you got to where you are today.
Well, originally I'm from Dallas, Texas. Went to Carrollton Ranchview. Played linebacker, quarterback. Got moved to D-line my senior year. Ended up going to Hardin-Simmons. Playing there for 4 years, was All-American. Still hold the squad record there, 7-15. That probably won't ever get broke. After that, tried the NFL circuit. Went to a couple of workouts, NFL pro days, didn't get drafted. Got into the arena circuit. That's what brought me to Amarillo. Came out here in 13 and 14, played with the Amarillo Venom, then got the call up to the AFL, played with the Tampa Bay Storm. Derek Brooks, Hall of Famer with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was the owner. So it was a good experience for 2 years to get down there. Ended up moving back to Dallas, playing with the Texas Revolution for 2 years. Ended up going to North Carolina, played up in high country on that end, and then ended up back in Amarillo. Since the Venom season kind of got postponed these past couple of years, I kind of found my calling in the next afterlife, which was training. Originally started training kids ages 5 to 12. That led to training some high school guys, and that led to a 707 team I started last summer. And that's led to me to where I'm at now in my next career. Proud of these boys, a lot of these boys that's been putting in the work. I know last year we didn't win the game, 0-10. You still think about those kids, and now seeing the success that you're having, it's all about momentum, man. Just trying to build on the momentum.
Now, with your experience of being able to make adjustments on the fly, from what you're telling me, and I know myself as, being in a player, coaching kids, making adjustments on the fly seems to be something that you had. You moved around, and you had to make adjustments for everywhere that you go, from high school to college, stepping up to the next level at each stop. How do you explain that to your kids and your message?
Well, I mean, that's how I teach it. It's all about sudden change. If that's one thing I learned about football, it's the one thing I learned about basketball, any sport, it's sudden change. It's about what you do after the mistake. It's about what you do on the next play. In this game, you're going to have to travel, where it's going from Texas to University of Pittsburgh if you sign that scholarship, or if you played in Texas from high school to college and then you get drafted, now you got to go play in Green Bay. It's all about adjusting to your environment, and can you be a better man? That's what all about. That's all I'm trying to teach you.
Most definitely, man. And one thing that stood out to me when I was there a couple of weeks ago was your enthusiasm with your kids. Even though they got down, you guys didn't have as many numbers as the other guys had, but you still kept pushing the tempo. You still kept pushing the envelope with those guys. How do you preach that each day to some guys that haven't got that exposure that you're trying to bring to them?
Well, I tell them, man, the one thing that somebody can't teach is effort. That's the one thing they can't teach. You can have a 5-star, you can have a 4-star, you can have a 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. But what those stars tend to do is tend to play lazy. So if you have that effort, the one thing like a Gronkowski, he hates is like a Tyrann Matthew, somebody that's shorter, somebody that is like a Chihuahua, somebody that's always in you. So I tell them, when we get to places, nobody's going to think that we can play because of your size, because of how old you are or whatnot, how big you are. So take that chip from having that, from those guys thinking that, and play with it. What these guys didn't know was, like I told them, you scrimmaged 2 different teams on that day, and you gave all of them fits. And what led that to them, it humbled them. They went to the tournament in Atlanta and just won it. And what they didn't realize was you're going to play 4 pool play games. And that's what happened. And it was a drag, but the guys were ready. And then you had your reinforcements come in. And then you went into day 2. That's where we need to get better on, is day 2. Day 1, they're good. Day 2, it's finishing. And that's what I'm teaching right now, trying to teach them to finish these games, because it's a drag. The team that's in more shape is going to win a championship, because you got to think you're playing 9 to 10 games in 2 days.
Most definitely. Now, let's talk about West Texas Elite a little bit. What was your vision for starting? Now, you talk about being out in Amarillo, that area. You know, you got some of the smaller schools around there. Canadian was on the 2A has been a powerhouse. Paladuro, the Sandys, out there. Texas football is big out there, but they don't get the limelight. Is that what kind of brought you to West Texas Elite?
Yeah, man, for sure. It's all about the exposure. When I got into the training, I got invited to Coach O's, one of his camps and showcase in Borga last year. And the biggest thing that he was talking to the kids about was exposure, trying to, with the COVID going on, it's a new way of recruiting. So constantly posting yourself video working out, constantly posting of something that you're doing. 7-on-7 is a big thing now because it's like AAU basketball. These colleges don't get enough time to go to see these different guys, especially from like a 2A, 3A. West Texas Elite division for that it started as FTC 806. It was a Amarillo-based organization. But the more I was thinking, I didn't just want it here. My vision was all of West Texas. Being in Abilene and playing in Abilene, I know it's football there. When I was there in 2009, Abilene High won the state championship. And then ever since then, they ain't make the playoffs and went this far till this year. Just reaching all the way out, and all these guys play each other, and they still don't get the respect that's deserved. Tascosa's been to the playoffs 4 rounds deep in the last couple of years, and they still don't get the respect. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want. Get the respect so that way you can come out here and start having these showcases out here. My vision is maybe hosting a tournament out here. A lot of these parents out here don't realize how big the Metroplex is, how bigger these boys are. So with that being said, if they see that out in person, then they'll be willing to send their kids more to these camps or trying to get guys out here. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point.
Most definitely. That means guys like me, because I had the chance to see you guys a little bit at Pylon and at that practice. And the practice was where I really got the meat and potatoes of your organization. And that's why I reached out to you. I really, we've been talking behind the scenes for about 2 weeks, and I wanted to make this happen this week. Again, Hendrix, head coach, founder of West Texas Elite out of the West Texas area, Amarillo to be exact, man. And you're doing a great job out there. And that's why I thought, you guys needed to come up and definitely we're going to continue to be communications, because that's what I do. And that's what we do with the Top Texas Prospect Show as well. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. Some of the guys. Had a chance to see some of the kids that you had in the program last week. There was a guy that was an 8th grader quarterback. I happened to see some of his stuff the last couple of days. And that's a running back out of Abilene that you guys have. That's a beast in the class of 2022. But let's start with the younger guys and work our way up.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So the youngest guy we had on our team, like I said, was 8th grade quarterback Keegan Anderson. And this kid's going to be, I'm just saying, man, he's going to be in the NFL, man. I mean, I've never seen an 8th grade guy that just came in and just took the reins. He's 6'1", he's 200. His dad is 6'6". So, I mean, you can just picture, and he's a big boy. So I can just imagine in the pads, he's like a good Jamarcus Russell. I'm talking about LSU Jamarcus. We're not talking Oakland Raiders Jamarcus. You know what I'm saying?
Facts, no doubt.
I'm talking big, and he got a nice arm. He's like, you know what I'm saying, when you're saying starter foundation, when I start this 15 under team, he's going to be that guy on that and somebody that I work way up. Far as my senior guy, I got Gravitt. He's my quarterback, offensive coordinator. Whenever he leaves, because he's committed to Navarro Junior College, whenever he leaves and when he comes back, he'll be helping within the organization. And what I hope is, I think he can play at the D1 level. Went to Wichita Falls High School, and team wasn't that good. And when you play on a bad team, I mean, you get overlooked. And this guy, you saw at the pylon, and you saw the one series that he got at the scrimmage. Like I was telling him, if I let my gun go, he did it, and he'll keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing about it. The other left-handed guy that was there that past weekend, Hayes, he turned it around. He got how quick the game was. I changed some stuff up on the offensive side of the ball, and it worked. That was a big thing. Getting to the receivers, we have Patty Pierre and we have Keith Johnson, two of my oldest guys. Patty is a current senior at Randall, played running back. Should have been playing receiver the whole time at Randall, but, you know, that's a different story for a different conversation. But you see the film, you saw what he did. He didn't get all-turning team. I don't know how, but it is what it is. We try to get him to, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to help him get to where he can get an opportunity to play football. He wrestles. So he doesn't want to do that. I mean, he does, but he don't. He wants to play football at the next level. So he's using this to try to hopefully at the last second get that opportunity. Keith Johnson is a guy that you need to really, far as he's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, but they call him the Keith Johnson because he just makes plays. I mean, he's a guy that's underutilized. People try to get big with him, but from day one, this guy has worked his butt off from last year, and he saw the difficult that we had. Got emotional in the pylon after day one when you won. And it was emotional for me because I was like, say, man, we done beat some organizations that are established and some guys that are 4 stars, 5 star, 3 star. And this past weekend, he made the all-turning team, had a catch, the 8th grader threw to him that I told him, I said, I didn't think you're going to make that. We also have Donny Bishop. We just got, he's from Crane, Texas. His cousin is Von Miller. So, I mean, that's a connect right there. And he's all bit of about 5'9", 200. And he's able to move. We also have Trey Farrell. He goes to Randall High School as a receiver. He's developing along the way, and he's getting a lot better. Those are just four of the guys out here. The King Thomas plays receiver, DB. You know, he's a running back from Abilene. He's everywhere. And this week he showed on both sides of the ball. He definitely needs to start getting some buzz. I don't know how he don't got no offer already. All the film is out there. He needs somebody and he's got the film from the running back. He can run it. I mean, against Den Geyer without a quarterback, he had, I believe, 20 carries by 150. And Den Geyer was pretty good this year. Got Hayden Labeer, plays tight end and linebacker. He's 6'4", about 200, 205. He's kind of like a giraffe out there. Lanky. He doesn't realize that he has all the abilities. Like you're 6'4", so use your wingspan. You can be 6'9" to close those windows. I think with he hasn't played linebacker, but I think if a move in the spring at a school to linebacker and he gets that, I think he could be one of those guys. Reminds you of a Leighton Vander Esch, just that type of body frame. Kai Keto plays linebacker, guy that hasn't played on the varsity. I got 3-4 guys that haven't played varsity downs at their school yet, and their game is elevating at this point. So since there's elevating, I mean, it's bringing them all along, man. And we also had a guy that was on the team at the beginning, but, you know, he got COVID. I don't know if you saw Michael Lewis. He almost passed away with the COVID. You know, he was really sick. We had to go fund me and stuff. But he's a guy that at Tascosa that's going to be taking off. Just recently got another Tascosa DB in Travion Brown. And he was the first team all-district DB. And the guy told you I had a guy that you wanted to talk to because you said, hey, who was the white boy free safety back there that was moving around? And the crazy thing about it is, man, he only has 5 games of varsity film. He had a lot of stuff that went on personal. Besides that, a lot of issues off the field. But once he got it, and I said, once you get it, even if it's later, it's still potential. Bryson Glees, safety. And I mean, like I said, this guy plays receiver too, but he's making a name at that safety because he's understanding that position. That's really the meat that gels the whole team together. We have some more guys that we added in. Got a pretty big name guy that I ain't gonna release yet. He's got to make sure to get some stuff out around that. But I mean, he's gonna boost it, and when you see it, you're gonna say, why is this guy committed here where he could boost it up? But that's all these guys out here want. They want to compete against the Metroplex. They get tired of you talking about the Metroplex. They're like, Coach, you always talk about Dallas. You always talk about this. You always talk about that. And I'll say it's different. And they understand how different it is. But with that being said, the one thing you shut a Dallas nigga up with, I mean,
keep going, Coach.
You play. you just play. And I've said when you play and you talk and you don't say nothing and you play, they can't say nothing. And then it's a respect thing. And I feel like with Texas Ice, I feel like with TDG, feel like with, PPT, these guys that big organizations in the Metroplex, we've earned their respect. Got Bryson here if you want to chat with him, talk to him a little bit. I got Patrick Pierre over here too, if you want to talk to him with it too. It's all up to you.
Yes, sir. We'll take a quick break and we'll bring the guys back in together and pause it. But just that fact that you have that platform to give to them because you were in the Dallas area, and that's just the facts of what it is right now in the shape of high school football. When we get down to the third and fourth rounds, it seems that the West Texas teams seem to be phasing out a little bit, whereas the end of the 80s, early 90s, back in my day, Odessa Permian was what that is. Abilene High was what that is. Abilene Cooper was what that is. Midland Lee, with Cedric Benson and those guys. So the talent is there. It just has to be brought to the surface. And with guys like your organization with West Texas Elite, that's what you have to do. And they have to understand that. And also, you mentioned the parents, they have to understand that. And I bring this up all the time. On this show, we talk about recruiting and what the parents need to know. You have to wonder, what price do you pay for exposure? And that exposure is an investment into that child's future to go to the next level, because it's not easy and it's not something that you do quickly, and today's kid, and this being in the game, everybody's enamored with the offer. They're looking for offers. They're looking for this. They want that pub, but there's a lot of things that you have to do behind the scenes to get that done. And that's what, my platform here is to bring that to the table. And that's why I bring on guys like you and your organization. So before we get you out of here and move on to the fellas, give them your Twitter, Instagram information if they want to reach out to you.
Okay, well, I need everybody to go follow the West Texas Elite Facebook, Twitter, Instagram page. It's WTX, not WEST, WTX Elite. My Facebook is Andre Hendrix, UNDRA, spelled a little different. Last name like Jimmy. That's the same on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Just trying to follow me, follow these guys, follow their stories. Tonight, I just want to let everybody know we just got our jerseys, new jerseys from Game Breaker. We had a little photo shoot. We're going to release that little hype video later. Like I was telling everybody, we're ready for March 20th. That's the next thing. Like I told you, we're expanding. Expansion is coming. We're hosting tryouts this Saturday in Lubbock at Laura Bush Middle School. That'll be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'm also working a showcase Sunday with Coach O up in Lubbock. So, I'm going to be up there looking, and I'm looking to add. I'm looking to have 18U with seniors, 18U without seniors, and then 15U. Why can't I have multiple teams? That's the biggest thing that I'm looking at. Texas Ice had 4 teams in one tournament. And if they play each other, they play each other. It is what it is. It's all about competition. It's all about getting better. It's all about getting exposure. And if two teams are the same organizations in the championship, I done did something right.
No doubt. And shout out to Coach O and those guys. He's a good friend. Known him for a while. That's how you get things on the right path. That model is what it is. Today, with COVID and things going on, the date for the NCAA pushed back to May 31st. You can't even go on campus for business. So all of those things are going into what we do now. So we'll take a small break, get those guys together here on the On Your Mark Show, 105.4 RPWP, thepulseradio.com, and we'll be right back.